Recently, there has been a lot of clowning activities on YouTube. So guess what? Let's join the fun. Introducing the circus owner!
Sorry, one thing I got to apologize for. My clowns has been really running around, alright, causing a lot of problems. Okay, so guys, apologize on everyone's behalf. Okay, but I'll make sure that he comes back home, okay, and be better trained. So let us go to Manchester, alright, and see what's happening over there.
So we have actually been to Manchester to understand what's on the ground and like look at the properties over there.
Multiple times.
Times instead of like looking at it from Google Maps, right?
Of course, ultimately we are going to put good money, quite a lot of money to buy multiple properties in UK, or specifically let's say Manchester. Obviously we are going to do our proper on the ground research.
So Sean, are you able to share with us, right, what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, recently on YouTube, there's this guy called Eric that has been calling himself the clown. But one thing for sure, right, is that I'm so glad he's not the scary clown that we see in the horror movie. At least I would say that quite a cute clown, right? So that's something that I think, at least a circus owner, I think that's something which, I branded myself pretty well to make sure that the clowns on the streets are good, nice and funny.
So let's take a look at some of his jokes. Joke number 1.
Manchester wants to build 36,000 new homes in the next 10 years to keep up demand. And look at the image. Don't you think that this location looks just like Victoria and Elizabeth Towers? More skyscrapers are playing in the city centre.
But none of the new skyscrapers playing in the city centre will feature affordable flats. So you can see that the price range in this project is higher than most locals who can afford
Wow, is it really not affordable?
No. So basically what affordable housing means in UK is just that it's our version of HDB. It's just that for affordable housing is actually built by private developers. So this is what it means that this skyscraper, we will not have any of our Singapore version of DBSS inside this particular building lah. Alright, so I think the key thing to see is it affordable or not. We want to compare this ratio called so-called household income to property price ratio. So just so you know, these are the calculations, alright. To buy a city centre project, 2-bedder, 2-bath, the ratio for a household income in Manchester to purchase is a ratio of 4.2, whereas in the OCR outside the city for Singapore, like more residences, alright, is actually at 13 times. So
of course, like 13 times is for like a brand new launch, right? But even if you're talking about resale, right, 13 may come down to 10 times, but it will not go down to like 4+ times. So in other words, I would say that by comparison, Manchester is still pretty affordable. Joke number 2, let's go.
Previous website and did a research.
And you can see that this is the latest data that is captured in this website. Only 2 new build was bought and the rest is 276 of resale properties. Most of the people actually bought resale properties compared to new.
Oh my god, if you look at this 2022 data, right, it's only until the month of February. So of course there's not much transactions because, right, properties have pretty much sold out in the year 2021.
yeah, and of course if you look at this chart over here, you realize that of course there are a lot more transactions in year 2021, 2022, 2020 and so on and so forth, right? But of course the main thing over here, guess what? Even those data are not accurate.
One key thing about looking at data, right, is you don't look at just 2 months to determine the whole year's worth of transaction. So other than that, right, what about the data in year 2021? Is it even accurate in the first place?
Yeah, so I think that, let's take a look, right? Since even year 2011 all the way up to year 2021, right? From what I see in this data, there is a total of about 800 new sales of the new build being sold, right? But I know for a fact that that's wrong because just in one project called Deansgate Square at that very area, right, there is already more than 1,500 units fully sold and fully rented out.
If you're not on the ground, you may not even know how to verify if the data is right or wrong in the first place. Joke number 3.
This stamp duty charge is for non-UK residents.
As all 3 properties is more than 250k, we can safely say that the stamp duty is 10%.
Aiyo, this is an elementary mistake because like even in the Singapore system, right, it's actually a tiered. So like the first 1 million, right, is up to 3%. Then anything above 1 million, right, is actually 4%. So it's the same for UK. It's like the first 125k is 5%. Then the next 125k is 7%.
Yeah, when I saw this, I just feel like basically shooting myself, right? Because I'm just so embarrassed that my clown went out there and tell such a wrong information. Oh my goodness.
Okay, for fun fact, right, let's take a look at the tiered system, right? If you're looking at 1.5 million pound and above, right, the stamp duty is like 17%. So what does this tell us? This tells us, right, that for the higher amounts, this is to tax the wealthy. Or so this will be your luxury products or your unaffordable or non-affordable.
So as an investor, you might want to invest probably at a 10% stamp duty and downward, because that just means and below, because that just means it's more affordable, and that also gives you a lot more room to exit in future as well.
Joke number 4.
Overseas interest rate is crazy. Our neighboring countries, Malaysia, is like 4-5% as well. And if in this climate you are still getting 2+%, we are already very blessed as Singaporeans.
Guys, interest rate have no meaning, alright, if you do not know what is the rental yield.
So think about it. What if interest rate is 10%? So what? Let me tell you, if rental yield is 25%, will you buy or not? Of course! So interest rate by itself, right, has no meaning. Just for a fun fact, right, let's use a case study of Singapore. If you're talking about $1 million property in Singapore and with a 25% down payment at an interest of about 2% a year, the monthly installment comes up to be $2,772 for a 30 years loan tenure.
Whereas the average rental at 3% is only at $2,500 a month.
So that's negative cash flow. So let's take a look, right, if what's the case in UK itself. If you're talking about UK, right, the interest rate can be 4%, right, and the rental yield is 6%. So for the same $1 million properties, right, when you run it out in the mortgage calculator, the monthly installment comes up to $3,580. If you're looking at the renter at 6%, it means it's $5,000,
right?
Positive cash flow.
Yeah, but of course, with the rising interest rate, we can also do the calculation. What happens if interest rate in Singapore goes up to 3% and then interest rate goes up to 6% in UK? Because if UK interest rate goes up, so will Singapore's interest rate, man, right? So the figures will come up to be 3,162 for Singapore mortgage, whereas rent is only at 2,500, more negative cash flow. And of course, in UK, it comes up to 4,496. But that rental is still at 5,000. In fact, give you a lot more stronger holding power in the UK.
Joke number 5.
You can see that there is so much things that you need to pay for your rent, and for the net amount, you're only getting 14,360 out from 19,800 of rental. You are only getting 72.5% of the rent.
Right, is that, Eric said that we collect 72.5% of rent in UK, right? And that is very bad. But oh my goodness, it doesn't matter is it in UK or in Singapore, it's almost the same. Let me give you a very simple calculation. For Amor residences, if you look at the surrounding renter, most are renting out around 3,100 to 3,300 for 2-bedder, 2-bath. But since it's going to be a newer condo, I'm going to give up a premium of it getting, let's say, about 3,500 rental. The maintenance fee is 414. That takes up to about what, 12% of the rent.
Absolutely.
Then property tax is 10%, and that will take up maybe about...
It's going to be like 11% by 11%, the time that increases.
About there, yeah. And not to mention, still need to pay agent fee when you rent out, and that takes up about 4%. So all in all, you also get back 73% of your rent, that's all.
So in other words, right, whether you're investing in Singapore or in UK, the expenses is roughly the same. Joke number 6.
Paid only £27,500 out of the profit of 200,000. That means the capital gains tax is 13.8%.
When we talk about capital gains tax, right, there is actually capital gains strategy. You see, we do not have to sell all the properties at one go. There's such a thing as capital gains allowance in UK. If you do it year by year, it will be way lower.
Yeah. Wait, I'll tell you what, but there's a better strategy, right?
Yes.
But instead of selling, why don't we do this thing called gearing up or refinance? You don't even need to sell. You can actually extract money out of your property.
So just to give everyone context, right, majority of the properties in UK is 999 years or 250 years. So it doesn't really make logical sense, right, to have a 3-year exit strategy. Why don't you just hold on and just like collect your rental and also do this gear up to extract out any profit you have from the property itself?
Yeah. In fact, if you talk about a 3-year strategy, I think it's also very ridiculous to have a 3-year projection on a property. Because no matter what, you have stamp duty they have to pay, and all these costs need to pay. Why do you want to have such a short holding period? It just doesn't make sense. If you do such a short holding period on like commercial property in Singapore, Singapore residential property in Singapore, the probability of all your profits being wiped out is actually pretty high.
Yeah, because even if you talk about Singapore, right, stamp duty is like 3 plus to 4%. And if you're talking about agent fee, right, that's another 2%. So you have to clear this 5% hurdle before you sell anything.
In conclusion, it just doesn't make sense to only have a 3 years projection for any property purchase, doesn't matter in Singapore, UK or anywhere in the world. But guess what? Even if it's 3 years in the UK, here are my numbers, it's not too bad, right? So what I have here is actually my loan documents. As you can see, I got 80% loan, and actually I only took an interest-only loan. Therefore, my interest payable per month is 675. So why did I take interest-only loans? Because that would actually give me a much higher positive cash flow. So in the ROI calculator over here, we can see that I actually got a 300 over pounds per month in positive cash flow. Therefore, with this, total profits on cash flow alone, it adds up to about 11 over £1,000. With today, if I were to sell the market, I'm very confident I'm able to get a £40,000 in terms of capital appreciation. After minus out all my expenses, I still have a ROI of 11.52%. Eric got it so wrong. The ROI is not 3.3%. He got the stamp duty wrong, he got the capital gain tax wrong, and in fact, I even factor in additional expenses such as financing fee, legal fees, and guess what? The ROI is still at 11.52%.
Joke number 7.
In summary, you make 46,800 Sing dollars from 3 properties, each making you 15.6 thousand in 3 years.
Maybe Eric say 3 years projection because he knows something that we don't know. So let's take a look at his investment property in the commercial space. So let's go to one of these here. Let's take a look, right?
I want to try buying brand new commercial property. So a Vision Exchange located at, can see over here, look at my mouse, this is Jurong East MRT.
So I see that his general strategy is capital appreciation. So let's take a look at one of his project, Vision Exchange. Oh, from what I see, after more than 3 years in fact, there's only one profitable transaction and many more unprofitable transactions. So wow, if he actually used a 3 years projection, wouldn't he lose money?
So, where is the capital appreciation?
Maybe after 20 years, he can finally see his capital appreciation.
Joke number 8. Let's take a look.
Can you sell or not?
And this was taken from Plumplot website. And the data was from June 2021 to May 2022, which is about a year of data.
When I check out the volume of sales in Manchester,
Only 22.3% bought flat. That means 78% of people buy landed properties.
As can see, out of 200 units sold, just for illustrative purposes, right? Actually, majority, 97% are flats. Why is it so? Because there's just no landed properties basically in the city centre itself. And you guys wonder why am I using M15 code? Because that's where my property is situated at. Now, the key thing is this. If you look at Singapore, does Singapore have a lot of landed properties in the city centre?
Maybe shophouses?
Yeah, but that one also commercial, what?
Yeah, that's true.
That's true, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, guys, in the city centre, there's just not much landed property, right? And of course, in this scenario, if someone or basically a local want to buy a landed property, yes, you probably got to buy outside the city centre, which probably need to drive about 45 minutes to an hour basically to the city centre itself.
So is that apple to apple comparison?
That is totally not apple to apple comparison. So in conclusion, right, is that if you are concerned about exit strategy, then perhaps these are just a few things that you can consider. Number one, you can always gear up instead of selling so that you don't need to pay capital gain tax, you can able to get profit out and invest to something else. Number two, alright, you are still able to then look at the resale transaction volume and you realize that actually there is a very healthy transaction for established property, right? Because all new launch will become so-called a resale, and that's where we need to look at the established property data to determine if you can exit or not.
When it comes to entertainment, right, listening to jokes is fine, but if you're investing, then it's actually better to get someone that's experienced on the ground, right, and know the right facts.
So for us, we work together as a team. I own landed property, he owns multiple residential property, right? We own industrial, we own commercial shop houses, we own obviously UK properties, right? And this is something that is within our wealth of experiences that we basically teach.
Our program is actually $365. It includes like real estate education, it covers a resi class, it covers an industrial class, and it's going to be covering about UK overseas class. So, and there's no additional upsells when it comes to one-to-one consultations. It's already included in the $365.
So no more paying thousands of dollars for the course and multiple thousands of dollars for one-to-one. That's something that we have already eliminated years ago, right? To make sure that it's affordable for everyone to be educated in property investment. So hope you guys enjoyed this series. All right,
we'll see you. We'll
see you guys. Bye.
I just want a little bit of